Hello everyone. In last sessions, what we discussed? We discussed the gather facts. After that, we discussed the tags, and after that, we discussed the debug keyword. So today we are going to see our next topic that is called as the registered keyword. So what is the registered keyword in Ansible? Suppose if we are having a one task. So already we know that what is the whenever we writing up the YML file in the Ansible, then what we have to follow it? We have to follow the first host, then we have the variable, then we have the task. These are the things mainly we have in our Ansible YML file. So suppose if I'm having a one task, that task I want to capture it. Then what you have to do here? So we have to go with registered keyword. Suppose if I'm having a one task, that task name is I want to get the date for all my managed node machines. Then what we are going to see here, so we have to declare the host, then we have to declare the task, then we have to register that keyword. So let's see how we can use the registered keyword. Already we know that, so where we are going to create it our YML file here. So I'm going to create it the YML file here. So I'm saying like this, suppose we have the 08, then just I'm saying this is my registered keyword. You can say YML, otherwise YAML. So both are the same extension. So we know that how whenever we're going to write it our YML file, then we have to first write it the dash dash dash. After that, then we know that we have the this is the closing. These are the optionals. If you want to use it, you can use it. Otherwise, we can leave it. So first we know that, so while writing the any YML files in Ansible, then we are going to start from the host. Then I'm saying it is my local. Okay. So here I'm not going to mention like this. Okay. So my task is, suppose I'm mentioning here the my task, then we are going to say like my task name here get date. So I want to date. Okay, so then what we have the command here, command is a date, then we are going to use it registered output, that is called as a, we can say called as a date output. This is the task output. So we know that what is the purpose of this task. Task is nothing but we are getting the date from this local host. What is the local host? Local host is nothing but we are going to perform at a local level. So that's why we can say called as a local host here. But whenever we have the one task output, then that task output I want to use it in another task. Then what we have to do here? So we have to go with registered keyword. So registered keyword is nothing but what will be output here? We will get it the date from this task. After that, that date I want to register. Then what we have to do here? We have to go with registered keyword. Then let me, yep. Then here I think we miss out here. So we don't have any indentations here. Then task. Then let me adjust this. Yep. You can see here the, so this is the, we have the task at a local host. Okay. Yep. This is a host. Then we have the task. Then we have the, these are the tasks we are going to perform it. After that, I'm going to say print date. So mean next task name is a print date. Then we are going to use it the debug keyword. Right now I'm not going to use it any variable. So variable concept is our pending. So that's why we are going to see here the message like this. So I'm saying this is my date. So what we performed here in this registered YML file. So we are going to get the date for the local host. Then we have the This is my local host of the machines where we are going to perform it. After that, my task name is a task. Then we have the name that particular of the task, get date. After that, what we are going to perform that command that's called as a date. Then we are going to register that date output. Whatever we are giving the output this task, we are going to register it and we are going to use it. You can see here the in next task I registered this date, then I'm going to start it here the next task, then we are going to print it. Already we know that what is the purpose of the debug keyword. Debug keyword is nothing but, so we are going to print it the message whatever we wanted. So then we are going to use it here the debug keyword, then we are going to print it the message here. So this is my YML file. So let me, like already I connected here my manage node and control node. So all machines already we connected here. So first we are in the control node, then we are going to manage my manage node machines by using of the control node. This is our architecture of Ansible. We know that. So let me check how many files we have here. So you can let me present working directory where I'm in. So you can see here the I connected here, but right now I'm in the EC2 user. But already we created the one user that is called as the Ansible user. So how to switch that user? Sudo switch that user super doing operation, then switch, then Ansible. We know that. So right now where we are in? We are in the EC2 user. But are we going to point it to that Ansible machines? Not it. So we are going to, you can see the cd change directory, then we can see the Ansible, then home directory. We know that. So then you can see the home directory, then Ansible. Right now we are in the that user. So you can see the how many files we have created here. So many files we created already. So just I'm going to clear it. Okay. So whatever we are going to create it the new file, then I'm going to say like 08. You can say anything here, registered, then .yml here. Then we are going to paste it here. Let me paste once again. So once we paste it here, then escape colon wq, that is called as a window quit. Then let me print it. My file is created or not here. Let me verify. Then .yml file. You can see here the our file is successfully created. Then I want to execute that files. Then what we have to do here? Already we know that. So how we can execute it? Suppose I want to execute that file. Then what we have to do? Already we know that how to execute that files. So we already discussed the different command. Then suppose whatever we have the tags and each and everything, but right now we are going to perform run my playbook. Then what we have to do here? Ansible, then dash playbook, because we already created the one playbook. Then what we have the playbook name here, then 08, then registered .yml. You can see here. Then you can see here the my gather facts, and you can see here the first one is a change. So what is the meaning of the change? Change is nothing but we are going to first time the perform this task. So that's why we can see here the change. After that, you can see here the my next task. Are we going to see any change here? No, we are going to print it only that task only. So whatever we have the first output, that output we are going to use it in our print data task. So that's why we are going to see here the OK. Already we know that. So first task local host, we are going to perform it. Then get date. So we got the date at a local host machine. Then we are going to print it that date because we have the next task that is called as a print date. So already we know that what is the meaning of this change, what is the meaning of this okay, because suppose I'm going to again same like this. You can see here the okay, then you can see the change localhost because we are going to print it every time that date. So that's why we can see here. But whenever suppose I'm going to install the Java in my machine and again I'm going to install the package that Java, then are we getting the change at that time? No, we are not getting any changes because that is called as a idempotency. Idempotency is nothing but again and again duplications are not allowed in our Ansible. So this is a, we know that okay and change. So once our new task, then we can suppose as a change. Once already perform this task in our machine, then we can see the okay. That is the our status here. So this is our, we can say called as a registered keyword. What is the purpose of the registered keyword? So whatever we want to output that registered and we want to use that again that output. Suppose we registered the get output, that output I want to store it and I want to print it in our next task. Then we have to use that the registered keyword here. So this is our registered keyword. So next our topic. So we completed the two keywords here. One is a debug keyword and registered keyword. So we are going to next topic that is called as a error handling in our playbooks. So what is the error handling? Suppose whenever we executing our code, at that time we will get some compilation error. But while we writing of the code in our Java, Python, .NET, C Sharp, any kind of the machine, then we have the two types of the error. One is a compilation error, another is a runtime error. Then ID will get it compilation error, we know that. But whenever we performing the task, at that time we will get some error at a runtime environment. Then what we have to do here, we have to debug that code and we have to fix it that particular the area why it is failing. So same like this, suppose we have the multiple tasks in our playbook. Suppose I created one playbook. In that playbook we have the multiple tasks. So first task is a get date. After that I'm going to printed that date. Then my third task is I'm going to install the Maven packages. Then I'm going to install the Java packages. These are the four tasks. But whenever we running that playbook, then it will be executed line by line code because already we know that Ansible is developed in our Python. So interpreter will be read the line by line code and it will be executed because same like this in our playbook. So we are going to perform task wise here. But my first task is failed. Then what will be happen for the next task, third task, fourth task? Then it won't be execute because it is not allowing to me in the next task because we are failed in our first task. So it won't be allowed to me in the third task. It won't be allowed to me in the fourth task to execution. So that is the thing we have the in our error handling concept. But whenever we performing the four tasks, if we fail the first task, then that is fine for me. So first task is failed, that's fine, but I want to execute of the remaining of the task. Then what we have to do here, so we have to go with error handling concept in our playbook. So whenever we performing of the any task here, suppose, so this is my we have the two tasks here. So first one is a first task is a get date and second task is a may print the date. So if we get any error in the task while execution of our playbook, then execution will be terminately abnormally. So that is the our execution of the flow in our playbook. If we get any error in the first task, then execution start remaining task will not be executed. So that is the we can handle this error in our playbook. We can continue the remaining the execution using of the ignore error concept. So that is we can say called as a error handling in our playbook. So whenever we writing of the program, so suppose we know that that particular area will be filled, then what we have to do here at that we have to add that code in the try catch block. So we know that because this code area may be failed while execution in our runtime environment. So that time we have to go with try catch block. So that's same thing we have in our playbook concept, that is called the error handling in our playbook. So I want to handle it the error, then what we have to do here. So I'm going to same like this, but whenever we have the command is a valid, that is called as a date, but I'm saying while I'm writing the it's by mistakenly it's a dates from my end. So we can say called as a, that is, you can see here the id, then you can see here the we are getting the some suggestion from the VS code side. That is fine for me right now, but I want to ignore that date. Then what we have to do here, so I'm removing this registered keyword, then I'm saying ignore, sorry, ignore errors we have, then you can see here the yes. So if we have the multiple tasks, then we can say called as a ignore case, ignore case, ignore case, ignore case in every task, then we can ignore that particular of the task. But what about of the other task? We are going to execute it because we are filled in particular of the task. We are not filled in our all tasks. So that is the we have here. That is we are going to ignore it, the error. Then we have to go with ignores error. Then we have to mention like this. Yes. Then I'm going to say here the ls hyphen l. Sorry, not required. So how many files we have? Let me clear this one. Then vi dot error. Okay. So we are going to say dates. Okay. Then exit, then colon, then wq window quit. Okay. I'm going to perform this playbook. So Ansible playbook. Then we can say called as a error dot yml. Sorry, let something is something is miss out. Yeah, my mouse is not working properly. Okay. Let me find. Sometimes my system is not working. So let me that one error dot yml. Okay. You can see here the you can see here the our gather facts is performed here. Okay. We know that what is the purpose of the gather fact. After that you can see here the get date, but we are failed in, so we are ignoring that one. Then you can see here the printed data also is ignoring. Why we are going to ignore it? Because we are failing first task, because these tasks are second task also is a dependent on the first task. Print date is nothing but we are getting the output from that first task, then we are going to print it. If we are not having of the date, then how we can print it here? So that's why second task also is a, we can say called as a, we are going to fail it. But you can see other, I'm going to modify that one. So we are going to error dot yml. So I'm going to modify that one. We are in the insert mode. Once we have the date, then I'm saying ignore the case, because whenever we have the dependent, then all tasks will be failed. So if we are not getting the input for the second task, then how we can print it? So that's why we are getting the error in the second task. So I'm saying yes. This is also ignoring. Then I'm going to create it here the, let me verify this one. Yep. This is the, okay. So I'm going to create the new task. That task name is a get who am I. So we know that who am I is nothing but we are finding the our machines. Yeah. Okay. Then we are going to perform the command. Then colon. Then who am I? Okay. Then WQ. Then I'm going to print it here the error dot yml. Yes, we can see the all data here. You can see here the we are going to perform the you can let me verify something is miss out command. Okay, so we have the syntax error here. We have so it is difficult to write it the here because it is difficult to identify the that's why we are going to write it here. Okay, this is the ignore case then command. Indentation is a proper here. If we don't have any indentation proper, then we are not going to execute our playbooks. Otherwise, you can validate in our online compiler. Let me check. What's let me exit from that. So vi 01. I'm going to create it one new file here. Then I'm going to print it here. WQ. So what is saying here? We were unable to read the JSONs while these are the okay, leave it because it is saying we have the syntactical error. YML validator online. Okay, so we are going to verify here the where is okay till command is added from our side. So that's why yes, this is the valid YML. Earlier we added till command. Let's see. We are going to create it the new file here also. Then Ansible playbook error dot you can see here the print date is ignore errors. So what is the issue? So it is saying we are not going to print. Okay. Let me modify my files here. So I am going to remove that one because we cannot ignore case in these files also. This is a one task. Let's see. You can see here the what happened in our previous task. No, same like we have the issue here. Let me modify again this file. Insert mode. In insert mode, I'm going to remove this print one because whenever we are going to, we don't have any ignore errors in our second task. So that's why we are getting an error. So I'm saying that is the sufficient for me. You can see here the so first task we are going to ignore it. Second task, are we going to ignore? No, we are not going to ignore it because we added the ignore case in our one task. So while we executing of the sequentially our task in our playbook, then it will be checked if it is ignore case yes, then we are going to ignore that task and we are going to print it our next task. So that is the error handling in our playbook. So first task is ignoring, but second task we are going to ignore. No, we are not going to ignore. But we are going to print it because whenever we read back, whenever we are going to read our code line by line, at that time it will be checked the is there any case for the ignore error? Yes, if we have the ignore case, then what will be happen? Then it will be ignore that task only. But what about of the next task? Then it will be start to execution. Suppose in that task also we have the some error. Then what will be happen? If we have the ignore errors equal colon, then yes, then we are going to jump on our next task. Otherwise, if we don't have any ignore errors colon yes, if we don't have a use it in that task, then what will be happen? Then playbook will be terminated from that second task. So that is we can call as a ignore error in our playbook. So whenever we have the ignore errors, then we are going to terminate that we are not going to terminate our code, but if we don't have a ignore errors used in our task, then what will be happen? Then it will be terminate our code and it is not allowing to me to perform our next task. It depends on our requirement. We are going to add our ignore errors. So that is we can call the error handling in our playbooks. So that is we have the error handling concept. So we have the next topic that's called the variables. So what is the variable? So variable in the normal we have the any language, then we have the variables. So any type of data I want to store it, then what we have to do here? We have to go with variable concept. So same like that we have the same variables are used to the store the data in key value format. So we know that key value format. So already whenever we are going to create the YML file, what we are going to use it key and value only format. Same like this. Suppose I'm having a one ID. Suppose I'm going to say var.yml. Then in this var.yml ID equal to 20. So this is my one variable. This is my second div. Okay. This is my we can say call as a key value format, then age, then we can call as a age. Then after that what we have to do, the gender, then what we have to do, these are the variable, but this is my key and this is my value. So we can call as a variables are used to the store the data in the key value format. But what type of data we are going to store it as per our requirement. Wise in Ansible we can use the four variables. We can use mainly four ways variables. One is a runtime variable, another is a playbook variable, then third one is a group variable and host variable. So any languages we have the different types of the data, then we are going to store it. Then we are going to perform the that variable based on our requirement. Suppose I want to store the some class student class data, then what we have to do, then we have to go with variable concept because we are going to create it the data, then we are going to represent it that type of data stored in that particular of the variables. Same like this we have the variables in Ansible. We can use variables in the four ways. First one is a runtime variable. Runtime is nothing but while we executing of the variable playbook files, at that time we are going to add our variables, that is called as a runtime variable. Whenever we perform the playbook, Ansible dash playbook, then playbook name. Then it will start to execute our playbook. At that time, we are going to add our variables. So we can call it the runtime variable. Then we have the next playbooks variable. So we are going to mention in our playbook while we going to create it our playbook, while we writing our playbook, then we are going to add our playbooks variable. Then we have the third variable that is called as a group variables. So I want to suppose we know that we have the number of machines. In that number of machines managed node, one is a DB server, one is a web server machine, then we have the one log server, logs files machine, number of machines whenever as per requirement wise we define it. So then I want to store group wise variable. Then what we have to do here, we have to go with groups variable. Then we have to host variables. Host variable is nothing but based on our performance, based on our host, we are going to store our host variable. So host is nothing but already we know that. So whenever we writing of the playbook, we have to declare the first host, then we have to declare the variables, then we have to declare the task. So mainly we have the three concept in our YML file. One is a host, second one is a variables, third one is a task. What type of task we are going to perform it? That is called as a task. Variables, what type of data we are going to store it? So it depends on our, suppose I want to use it runtime variable, then what we have to do, then we have to declare that variable and we have to initialize that variable, then we are going to assign the value in our runtime environment, that is called as a runtime variable. Same like this we have the group variable. Suppose we have the number of groups is nothing but based on the group. Suppose groups where concept is used to the specific variable value for the group of the managed node. Suppose we have the one group that is called as a one group, then we can call it the first group name is a web server. Then what we have to do here, then we have to go with groups variable. Then as per inventory file we can go with group name. The managed node we are going to configure the host inventory file. We know that. What is the host inventory file? Host inventory file is nothing but that type of IP addresses we are going to maintain it. We know that. So one is a, so we know that what is the, let me explain here. So suppose we have the architecture. This is my this is my control node. We can say called as a control node CL. So we know that we have the managed node, we have the managed node, we have the managed node. So we have the three machines. One first managed node is called as a DB server. So this is my DB server, this is my web server, this is my, we can say called as a log machine. Okay, so number of machines we are going to control by using of the control node. But you can see here already we know that we have the one inventory file. Then we are going to store all machines of the information in our inventory file, that is called as a, we can suppose inventory file. And managed nodes are, we are going to configuring the host inventory file. We know that managed node where we are going to configure, we are going to configure in our inventory file. Then that is called as a groups variable. We are going to use it. The host variable, what is the host variable? Host variables are used to the specific variable value at a host level, at a machine level. Suppose I want to declare the variable at machine level, that particular of the machine level, that particular of the machine level, that particular of the machine level. Then what we have to do here, we have to declare the host level variables. Host vars will be create the, suppose I want to create it, that host variable. Then what we have to do, then we have to mention like this. We know that etc. What is the etc? This is my file systems in Linux, then etc, then what we have the Ansible, we are the user, then we have to declare the host. Just we are going to pop, oh, see here the overview. We are not going to deep dive. In upcoming sessions we are going to deep dive in our variables, because very most important concept in our Ansible, that is called as a variable. So we have the main, then we are going to post it like this. Okay, host vars, group vars, we are going to mention like this. I will show you how we are going to declare the that type of the variable. So each and every variable we are going to see in our practical way only. Then we can understand how exactly works it. Okay. So mainly we have the four types of the variable. First one is a runtime. Then second one is a playbook. Whatever while we writing whatever we are going to use it that variable in our playbook, then we can say call it as a playbook variable. Then group variable is nothing but so we can say called as a groups concept is nothing but if you want to specify the particular variable value for that particular the group of the managed node group, then we are going to say group variable, because suppose we have the one group that is called as a DB server group, then what we can say, then we can go with group variable. Then if we have the host, I want to declare the variable that particular of the machines, then what we have to do, then we have to go with host variable. So whenever we using of the any variable concept, but what is the purpose of the group and host, because I want to install the DB server related. Suppose I want to install the DB workbench here, then what we have to do here, so we have to go with only that particular of the machine. Suppose in this machine I want to install the nginx package, npm package, then what we are going to see in the web. Then suppose I want to install the Maven in this machine. I want to install Java in this machine. Then are we going to install in this machine? No, we are not going to install the Java, Python, whatever we want to it. As per our requirement wise, we are going to install in our particular the machine. At that time, we have to declare the group variable and host variable. So let's see. We are going to see in upcoming sessions. Okay, thank you guys.